What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Draco Reaction Vlogs, and don't forget to like, subscribe, definitely comment on the channel. Again, it will also help build up my channel today. But today we'll get into the match today. Today's match: Spurs 2, Brighton 2. As usual, never gonna repeat myself again, but make sure the owners get out, the sporting director, the CEO, recruitment, medical staff, and majority of these players, as well as any higher ups that run this club, should leave effective immediately. Because, again, we didn't win today. And if had we won today, we would have been out of relegation zone for a bit. But however, we drew that game 2-2, and we're 18th with 31 points. And by that result, Forest and West Ham will be looking at us and saying, you know what, let's go ahead and win our respectable games. Forest is probably going to beat Burnley tomorrow, while West Ham on Monday, I have a feeling that Palace is just going to roll over for West Ham on Monday. And Leeds already won today. They beat Wolves comfortably, 3-0, convincingly. So they're 9 points ahead of us. The performance, I can say, was a bit better than the one against Sunderland. But however, we didn't get the result, which was to win the game. We're still, however, winless in 2026. And with 5 games left to go, the clock is ticking down on us for Spurs to stay up in the Premier League. But let's just say how it is. Clubs are already relegated. Just a matter of time before the Premier League announced that Spurs are mathematically relegated. Just to say how it is, because with 5 games left to go of the season, I don't see Spurs picking up any points or getting a win anywhere. Like I said for my last 2 videos, if the games we have left in the season, there's no way Spurs can start picking up 3 points or even get a win. That team's the only team that hasn't won in 26 out of all 20 Premier League teams. And as a result, we deserve to be relegated. I like Coventry, who just got promoted yesterday, take our spot. Because there is no way that winning 2 games at home all season that team deserves to stay up in the Premier League. But against the performance today, first half, I thought the team started right. They got the ball flowing at once and continued driving the ball forward and attacking. But however, it allowed Brighton to get in the game. We almost conceded from Welbeck's header early on, but we got lucky with there. And first goal we scored, Simmons, I could say he did alright today, a bit better than last time. But he did rob Brighton from the back when they were trying to play out from the back. Crossed it straight to Poro, who nodded it in back in the net. Don't know what their goalkeeper was on, but good header from Poro, and we were 1-0 up in the first half. However, we should have killed him off after he got scored 1-0. Because there was a chance from Simmons again. He could have doubled the lead. However, his effort was off target. And we got punished for that because Brighton started growing into the game with more confidence. And we didn't do good enough. We were terrible at defending the chance leading up to the goal, the equalizer that we conceded. Because we gave their right back, their midfielders, a lot of space to cross it, and no one was marking him. Udogi should have done better defensively, and we allowed Mitoma, who just came off the bench, to score a banger, top bins. There's no way Kinsey was saving that. However, if we had done better defensively, defending that cross, we would have gone into halftime 1-0 up, but eventually gone to halftime 1-1. And the second half was just kind of boring. It was just a cure for insomnia because neither team wanted to get the second goal. Brighton had more chances to double their lead. This near team, especially when Spurs were trying to go for a winner, which they had to win because they would lift them up from 18th to 16th if they won. Nothing. There's nothing that happened in the second half that, to me, I found was entertaining. Just kind of boring for both teams. But then, like close to the 70th minute, Simmons almost retook the lead, but his effort was off target. But he did make up for it in the 78th minute by scoring what apparently looked like to be a winner, because Bergvall, who just came on, robbed Brighton's defender. They're messing around in the back again. He drove the ball forward to Simmons. Simmons was running. He made a run to get the chance. Got the ball into the opponent's box and scored a banger. Good finish by Simmons to make it 2-1 and what looked like to be the winner in close to the end of the 78th minute. But I think that celebration was kind of unnecessary because you still had time to finish this game off. 15 to 20 minutes to at least finish this game off by getting a third. And the way Spurs were acting after they scored the second goal in that game, they just invited Brighton to continue attacking and invite us more pressure. As soon as Brighton can convert 3 or 4 of those chances, they would have easily snatched up a point, and that's what they did. Because, let's be honest, Spurs didn't look like they wanted to get the third one. They just want to sit this one out, although there's so many minutes left. And Spurs, they made a stupid mistake in the back where Danso was trying to get the ball off his own box. He had a huge stinker. He allowed Brighton center back to nick it off him in the box, squared it towards Rudder, who also came off the bench, and converted that finish clean. There's no way Kingsley was saving that, and no one was marking up Rudder as well, Jorginho Rudder. So again, that goal could have been prevented had Danso not lost the ball in his box, because he could have easily kicked it out once he won the ball from Minty. But however, he folded under pressure from Brighton's own center back, and again it unfortunately ended 2-2. And after Spurs saw that they conceded a second, they started attacking and could have easily finished off trying to win this game 3-2 or 4-2 based on chances. But however, if they'd done that earlier and got the goals needed, then we would have put this game to bed. Unfortunately, the score ended up 2-2. And I'll get to the team for a moment, but there were some players that I think the manager should not have started. Don't know why both Solanke and Kolumani were starting, because, to be honest, they had done nothing in the last game, and they did nothing again the same game. At least one of them should have been dropped for your Tell or Richie. It's nice we had Matters on the bench because I expected that guy's gonna be out the season, but luckily the guy came back from injury. But I bet you he wasn't surprised looking to this horrendous performance. Then we look at our midfield. I'm very concerned about the double pivot of Bissouma and Gallagher, because Gallagher, who looks like the English version of Calafiori, all he does is just run on the pitch. No desire to win the ball back in the midfield. I think that guy should be sold or loaned out immediately upon the summer transfer window. As that guy has done nothing all game. It just runs around the pitch and dives, makes stupid, reckless mistakes. Bissouma also does the same thing, but on a lesser occasion. But again, that double pivot is very, very risky, especially when teams can figure out how to play with the ball on the floor. They can just bypass double pivot easily. Simmons, I think it was just average today. Fair play, he set up the assist and scored today. However, don't know, that celebration and faking the injury, especially crying when as soon as Brighton scored a second. That was unnecessary. And that celebration, that I think that was just overdue. If you, wait, you should have done a bit better with trying to go for a winner instead of immediately after you scored the second goal, just playing injuries and stuff. I just think that was a bit too much. And then looking at both fullbacks, Poro, fair play, you got the goal, but at times you cannot. That guy cannot defend. The guy was just all over the place. Same for Udogi, who was also all over the place, but a bit much better than defensively than Poro. But again, Udogi could have done better to mark the first goal that we conceded against Brighton. Then both the center backs, I think they weren't doing pretty well. Not like terrible well, but again, they need to do better defensively. Danso, I think he needs to get better marking players, as well as try not to crumble under pressure in his own box. Kinski, I'm not gonna get into him that much, although there's nothing you could have done to save both goals. But again, we need to fix up. And again, performance was better, but the result wasn't there. And again, West Ham and Forest are going to continue picking up points, while Spurs are going to be stuck in 18th. But again, if you want to look at it from the owner's perspective, they kind of deserve it because of the terrible quality that's being invested in the squad. Again, Spurs doesn't have that much time left, and I'll be surprised if we even survive, because even if we survive, the same thing's going to happen in the summer. De Zerbi ain't going anywhere because that guy has been signed up to a 5-year contract. And as soon as, if the same cycle of buying players of no quality continues, and Spurs are always going to be in this way until they actually get relegated, Coventry can just take their spot right now because they got promoted and they're probably going to stay in the Premier League. And last but not least, majority of these players need to be binned in the summer. We need to move on from majority of these players, regardless of what happens to Spurs at the end of the season, because it's just not good enough. And you look at teams that Spurs season win, they just fold and then just drop points against teams that you could say Spurs can even pick up points. I'm not even sure about Wolves next Saturday, let alone Aston Villa, because let's be honest, we're gonna make Wolves look good next week. No, Wolves been terrible this season. They're probably getting relegated because they're less than 20 points. They're at 17. But when Spurs come up there next week, it's like Wolves is their bogey team. They're going to make Wolves look good. But enough about that. Hopefully Spurs need to fix up as soon as possible. Otherwise, I might just say they're just relegated. And based on the performances and the results they've been getting this season, they kind of deserve it. But long 5 weeks ahead, long 5 more weeks, 5 more games left till your Spurs can stay in the Prem or they go straight to the Championship. You will see what happens, but yeah. I'm lucky that Spurs didn't get the win, because if they converted chances, because Brighton could not convert their chances more than Spurs, they could have easily won this game or lost this game had Brighton converted their chances. But another 5 more weeks of probably more winless games for the rest of the season. And we will see what happens to Spurs. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm out.